Hi, gonna do a little update on the B18 swap into the 89 Civic wagon. Switch these cameras around. It's been about 6 months since the last update, but I've been doing some work on the engine and it's going very slowly, so sorry about that. But put the new intake and throttle body on, started working out which sensors need to go where and how to route vacuum lines and how to make vacuum lines. My recommendation to you would be get the workshop manuals for both your chassis and your engine, and somewhere in here you'll find like explaining what each component is that you see in your engine bay, and then there are like vacuum connections, so exactly how to route vacuum lines. I had no idea what a vacuum system on a car did when I started this, but I think I've got it figured out now. We'll see when I try to get it running. I broke the distributor drive wheel when I installed the distributor because it wasn't set properly. I was tightening up these bolts and it snapped, so don't do that. Make sure it's aligned properly. It should push in without any effort. So yeah, new distributor, intake, manifold, throttle body, both Skunk 2. That's a 70mm throttle body, and I've got the RDX injectors, which is a nice kind of OEM plus update. I'm waiting for the Type R throttle bracket. I think I can reuse the throttle cable, but I need a different throttle cable bracket. And then you need to run like coolant lines. So yeah, here's from thermostat housing, I think that is. And that runs in. Some people bypass the throttle body with their radiator hoses or coolant hoses. That's great if you live in a warm climate. I live in a cold climate, so it's good to get this, like, it basically does some preheating of that, even though you may lose some minor performance, because this will, if you know, when the coolant gets up to temperature, it's theoretically going to be heating up your throttle body and therefore the intake air temperature, hotter air, lower performance. But it's going to run better when it's cold, and it's cold here more than not. So I didn't bypass that. What else to talk about? Oh yeah, I got my swap harness out. I just did a video on the swap harness and what that is and how it works. So check out my other video if you want details on how to connect all that up. I had to unpin and repin the alternator because the plug it came with, this one, is different to my alternator. I think I have a European EDM spec alternator, and this is a USDM alternator plug. So rewire the alternator. Now I'm gonna finish up this wiring, get it through the firewall nicely, plug in the ECU, sort all that out, and then the wiring here should all be ready for the engine to go in. So I'm going to put the engine in and then connect it all up, I think. I need to sort out the charge cable as well. I will be taking out the radiator to install the engine as well for clearance. Everything else, there are a couple of vacuum components in here that you have to connect up. There's the evap system, and it's been months since I worked out exactly what that does and how it works now, so I can't tell you exactly. I think it takes unburnt vapor from the oh yeah, it takes unburnt, not unburnt, it takes shit from your cylinder housing, the block. There's somewhere in here it sucks out gases from, is it the block or the head? It's here somewhere. So I need to connect that up. It takes basically all these gases and stuff that build up inside the head or the block, and it puts them through an evap canister, collects in this thing. A lot of people replace these or delete them, but I'm just going to keep stuff stock and get it running for now. That's my goal here. It's dirty and horrible. I know I should clean up and paint this engine bay, but I don't have energy and time. I'm going to get this thing running and then we'll improve from there. So yeah, I need to connect up a couple of vacuum powered things, vacuum connected things to the engine as well. The brake booster is also powered by the vacuum of the car. That's what gives you that additional brake power. I've upgraded this, both the booster and the master cylinder. So master cylinder is the thing that you push on, and then it activates the slave cylinder. And in this case, you have 4 slave cylinders, 1 on each wheel. That's your brake calipers. Inside here, I have started the pedal conversion to a hydro. So you can see here, here's my master cylinder for the hydraulic clutch. And yeah, this is the Hush Performance Kit. The Hush Performance Kit does not fit on an 88 to 91 wagon pedal set. So this pedal set is from an 88 to 91 Civic, normal Civic, not a wagon Civic. They're different. You won't be able to fit the Hush Performance Kit on the wagon pedals. In getting to these, you can see that the dashboard is removed, and I've lowered the steering column. Like, these are really a pain to get to. I've removed the under dash fuse box and disconnected everything. It's really a pain to get to this thing, but not if you just do it the easy way. Like, the easy way is remove your dash, lower the steering column, disconnect the fuse box, under dash fuse box, and lower it all, and then you can get to it. I was trying to get to it without having to take the dash out, and it was a big waste of time. It's doable. I know people have done it. It's doable, but it depends how small your hands are, maybe, or how much you're prepared to put up with. So that's in progress. What I have to do now is figure out if this is going to work. You see, there's not a lot of clearance here. That needs to connect to the reservoir, the clutch fluid reservoir, and then in here is the actual connector for the clutch line. So in there, I'm going to need to run basically a brake hose, but it's a clutch fluid hose that goes out there, goes along the firewall on the inside of the car, and then exits into the engine bay somewhere behind that heater core. I'm going to need to put out the clutch line. So this is how I guess this is how a hydro clutch swap works. No, I had to remove both the ventilation tubes. There were, from the heater core here, there were tubes running, with heat, both for the door to go in here and up onto the window, and to go down by your feet, I think. And also the fresh air intake comes in through here. So all of that had to be removed for this to work. Here's so much. So these pipes have to get removed, otherwise you can't fit the pedal set with a hydro swap under there. But yeah, left to do is connect the clutch fluid reservoir and clutch line. It's a soft line. I can run a stainless steel line. You should avoid, what I understand is you should avoid soft lines as much as possible, because they do take away some pedal feel from you. And then I'll have the soft line coming out here somewhere, and then I've got the hard line for my engine and gearbox. You can see that's an old slave cylinder. I think it goes this way up, so it's going to be something like that. Sits under the engine, comes up by the gearbox. I think that's how it goes. Need to confirm that, but that will tell me where my clutch line needs to come out. And yeah, I'm going to run the hard line. You can make it easy for yourself and run just a stainless steel line in the engine bay. Illustrated example, that's a brake line, but same shit. You connect that up somewhere and then run that to your clutch slave cylinder. And then shift linkage I'm going to need to do as well. I've bought one's on the way from Hasport. There's questions up in the air whether the shift linkage from Hasport works or not. The reason I was pointing the camera in this direction is because I have a shift linkage here, but it's for an EG. So I was going to modify it, but I think I'll just buy one and hopefully that'll work. So I will soon be able to tell you whether the Hasport shift linkage fits the wagon. Some people say it does, some people say it doesn't. Yeah, get the gearbox on, get the engine in, wiring, vacuum lines, radiator hoses, shift linkage. I got to build an exhaust system. So there's still a lot to do, but we're getting there. Hopefully there was something useful in here for somebody somewhere. Have a great day. Bye.